Oh, yes. So we're on now. Good morning, everyone. All public meetings are live streamed and recorded. Any verbal or written information provided may be included in the public documents as per the Freedom of Information Protection of Privacy Act, FOIP 40-1. See, I got a blank page, that's great. So I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 9:02. Can I get, is there any additions or subtractions from the agenda? If not, forever hold your peace. Oh, yes. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes from November 2nd, 2023. Is there any corrections or omissions that we're aware of? If not, man, you're fast. All in favor? Carried. So we carry on a new business, the draft amalgamation administrative work plan. So the work plan as presented is, it was very hard to read. I didn't have a magnifying glass. I got eye strain. Did everybody go through that? And is there, we need to discuss, I think, several of the points going forward. Am I on the right page here?
4.
Hi, Tracy. Sorry, I was deep into looking into it.
Good morning.
Morning, Tracy.
I just wanted to point out there is a typo in the administrative amalgamation work plan timeline. I have the wrong quarter, wrong year.
Wrong year.
Yeah, it should be 2024. So just to note that.
I thought maybe we'd already gone through that.
Yeah, back to the future.
I must have missed that meeting. Yes, there was also a word that was spelled wrong too.
Okay.
So, without further ado, I'm gonna get past minutes here. So the work schedule. I guess we go through this point by point. Yes, Councillor Radcliffe.
I expect that Ms. Haight has some background information for this for us as well.
Who's that? Sorry.
Tracy.
Do I got to turn my chair this way to make sure that I'm, you're supposed to wave your hands.
Yes, if it pleases the committee, I can kind of run through this and just do a quick summary. So on November 16th, Clearwater County Administration met to go through the work plan for the amalgamation. And they assigned tasks as per applicable departments for the items that the committee needs to review and discuss. So the timelines that were established are fairly flexible, and they are dependent on the amount of information that's readily available and also dependent on how much of that information is readily available. So administration hopes that they'll have all the required reports needed by the end of the first quarter in 2024. However, that would be subject to change. And Village of Caroline administration also met with county CAO and reviewed the draft work plan, and perhaps if they would like to add any comments on that.
Not this time.
So as you can see, the first schedule here is the admin work plan divided up between departments. And I'm not sure if your copies are in the colored or if they're in the black and white, but on the screen, we do have the department assignments. We've gone through and identified those items that should be fairly timely to discuss. And later on, some of the heavier items like financial reports and capital plans, that type of thing, they will fall into that first quarter timeline. So are there any questions?
Nobody's waving their hands, Tracy. Yes.
Just for clarification, with how you've laid this out, so you've laid it out in regards to, when you say office of the CAO or CAO office, that includes both the county and the village CAO, correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, so this isn't just county, this is the both municipalities working in those from those departments.
exactly,
good.
exactly.
Thank you.
Keeping in mind that Clearwater County has a few extra department heads, whereas Village of Caroline just has the one.
Are you done, Tracy, or? So we can move ahead with going through each step here that you've identified.
Yep, if you like.
So does the timeline seem appropriate to everyone at this particular point in time? I think everybody is in agreement at this point anyway. So we got I guess I'll ask the councils, do you want to go through this page by page, or do you want to go, just with the list that's presented before us? Because if you can't make a decision, I'm going to make it for you, okay? She wasn't waving. I can't see that far over there. All right, yes.
You had asked if we were comfortable with the timeline. I just merely wanted to comment that I think that it needs to stay fluid as well, because we need to keep in mind the staff burden at both the village and the county. So I think we need to ensure that we have some flexibility in that. So while I hope that we can reach these timeline goals, I think that it's important that we also consider that they may have to be adjusted as we get deeper into this process.
We're almost a year behind as it is on this list. Because it's Q1 23. So, no, I think that from my perspective, it certainly is that we're going to be as flexible as possible, because there is things that come up that we're gonna have to deal with from time to time that might interrupt this, or might give us, you know, that something might be canceled, that we can actually move forward if so choose. But in the meantime, in between time, we should probably just follow along, I guess, with what's set in front of us, and how, you know, do we anticipate any issues that maybe there needs to be some, I don't know, different, sorry, I'm looking around at all the different, make sure that I'm not missing anybody. Yes, Councillor Radcliffe.
Are you finished? I'll go after. Okay. Yeah, this is just a projection, and it's everything we expect from our legal legislative services coordinator. It's well done, outlines everything, and it's just a projection of what we expect. Looking at this, though, it really brings home the amount of staff effort that is going to need to go into this, which leaves me with a concern. We have previously talked about a few different, and I have forgotten the word, potential barriers, you know, where there wasn't agreement. Sorry. And so I wonder if we shouldn't be dealing with the contentious issues rather than have staff put in probably hundreds of person hours to go through this, and if we can deal with the contentious issues up front, then we know that we're making a good investment of that time, rather than putting in all that time and having, you know, not follow through with amalgamation.
And just
Sorry for the stumbling through here.
No, it's all right. I'll stumble. I think, you know, they did a lot of work in setting this up right now. And we know that it has to be fairly fluid. We have to, you know, try to get through. We definitely will deal with some contentious issues, probably sooner than later. I mean, that's how I look upon it. But I think at this particular point in time, can we agree that, you know, the timeline that's set out here, we can approve and then move forward and start addressing, you know, some of those contentious issues. But I think that's what the administration would like to see, is that, okay, we've accepted what they've put forth here. We know that we have to go and deal with multiple things through this list, but it gives us a good starting point. Deputy Reeve.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm curious if we can add to the work plan, et cetera, like that, as we go through negotiations. I'm sure there's going to be things that we may feel are important in order to make a decision. The work plan itself isn't set in stone either, right? We can add to that if we see that something else is needed in order to make a decision.
That's a possibility. As per the MGA and municipal affairs, there are the mandatory requirements or mandatory items that must be discussed and included in the report that goes to the Minister of Affairs. Those ones, there's no changing. However, if you wish to add to those discussion items, it would be important to keep in mind that although that there is some flexibility to the timeline, if the committee decides that the date that they wish to set for amalgamation is, for example, January 1st of 2025, and considering the timeline for the report to get to the legislation assembly, order in council, that is going to determine if there will be sufficient time to discuss additional items.
Sorry, just, I wasn't necessarily saying we add additional items, I was saying if we needed additional information. So you have a work plan for the CAO's office, Public Works, et cetera. Let's say we, for whatever reason, wanted to know how high the grass needs to be in Caroline, like, we would add that to the work plan. I'm being facetious, obviously, because I don't know what we will potentially need. But some actual municipalities do have a bylaw on how tall the grass needs to be, so it wasn't totally off base. But could we add that to this work plan then, as things pop up, that, hey, we need to know this in order to do this piece of the required municipal affairs negotiated practice?
You
It's not an
could.
issue? Okay.
Yes, you could, but bearing in mind that the whole amalgamation process is that once the amalgamation date is set, and should the amalgamation go forward and the application be accepted by the minister, there will be a new council in place. It will be a new municipality. And so it would be up to that new council. There would be a new budget, and it would, those are the things that would then determine a new bylaw or a bylaw for how tall the grass is in Caroline. So those types of decisions don't necessarily need to be made at this point in time. They would be then considered by the new council under the new budget.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Supplementary? As you stated, there'll be a brand new council. And I've been doing a little bit of digging into this, how this whole process works. Where in the work plan does it show that we need to redo all of our ICFs and ICCs and all of the agreements we have with every other municipality? Because we no longer exist, so therefore the 13 ICFs and the numerous ICC agreements that we have with other municipalities need to be completely redone. So where is that in the work plan?
That would be under the bylaws, bylaw review, I think, item.
Are we going, sorry to interrupt, well, I'm the chair, I can interrupt all the time. That, we're only dealing with what is existing around our contiguous boundaries, I believe.
Sorry, with all due respect, we're not, so, because Clearwater County dissolves as well in this process, so therefore every single ICC and ICF that Clearwater County is engaged in will have to be renegotiated and relooked at as well, because Clearwater County ceases to exist.
Good point. I'll give you that point today.
So that's under 29?
Item number 22, and it's
22.
important to note that by default, all bylaws and resolutions of the existing municipalities will continue to stand. During the transition period, that is when bylaws will be reviewed. It will be determined which ones need to be rescinded, which ones are similar, if there are any, which ones need to be repealed. And at that time, during the transition period, and probably for maybe even a year after the new municipality is formed, will be the bylaw review, and that's when the 13 ICFs would be reviewed.
So we have a little bit of wiggle room with
Oh,
that.
definitely,
Okay, good.
100%, 100%.
Perfect, thank you.
Would it not also provide an opportunity for the county if there is some agreements that are not to their liking with some of the other bordering municipalities? Because what I would, and I'm not sure, and you can certainly correct me, but I see, you know, the point is well taken, that, okay, you're changing up and becoming a brand new municipality where you've added, some property or whatever, another entity within it, but that doesn't affect the boundaries of or the agreements they have with the other municipalities has nothing to do with Caroline. You know, or agreements like with Rocky Mountain House or what used to be agreements that we had. So would not provide an opportunity if there is some very suspect agreements that are already in place, that you have an opportunity to then renegotiate, let's say with Bighorn, the MD of Bighorn or whatever? Okay. So there's an opportunity.
We can see it as a positive.
Yes. Okay. Where are we at now? So we are discussing, and we're going through this point by point, by the looks of it, with contentious issues or things that are brought up as we're going through this. I guess my original thought was that this is the work outline and timeline that you've set forth as administration, both administrations. And it is fairly fluid. It is something that we can, you know, we do have some flexibility with. So can we not just agree to go forward with this? Is that what you like, Tracy? Does anybody else have any, I think you need a motion, correct? To adopt this as a draft timeline, or?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what everybody else wishes. Do you see that as something that we can adopt this and then we can get on to going through this, through the detailed part of the work plan?
With the understanding that it's fluid, I think that that's possible.
Councillor Lougheed.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ultimately here for me, I'm a little concerned. We're talking about a fluid timeline right now. We've kind of defined this work plan to reach a report level, which is kind of what's going to keep us on that legislative timeline. And we're already talking about, you know, it's okay if we're a little bit further on than that. That pushes that legislative timeline or expected timeline for the municipal affairs to make their feedback well known on this as well. I'm a little concerned. We're already kind of saying, well, we got time. I'm just want to kind of define what we're meaning by fluid. You know, the things that are outlined here within this work plan, I think need to be completed by the end of that first quarter in order for us to reach that line. And sorry.
Okay. Yes, Tracy, go ahead.
As far as the fluid timeline, this plan is for the first quarter of 2024, but it could stretch into the second quarter of 2024. If the date for amalgamation is chosen as January 1st, 2025, administration would not recommend delaying negotiations further than the second quarter in 2024. Order in council, like the provincial government, needs approximately 4 to 6 months to review that report. So if you go to if you go at the minimum 4-month timeline, that would put the committee at October, September, early fall, to have everything all wrapped up and completed.
Well, and the other thing that's pushing up against that, whether we push hard and get going through this so we have a better understanding, we also have a municipal election that we want to get ahead of as well. Fall of 2025, I believe, is the next municipal election. So you want to have the interim council in place by a certain time so that the transition is fairly smooth, do we not? Or or at least smoother than it. If we pushed, we delayed enough that it's pushing back, then we run the risk of it not being done in time, and it would have to wait until the next council came in, and we know what and that causes all sorts of other issues. So I agree that, we need to sort of follow the timeline that's set out. And yes, you've told us that we can probably go into the second quarter, but no later. Councillor Ratcliffe.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just wondering what your level of confidence is, or does the village have the resources to be able to follow this timeline for their portion of the work?
Well, I'll let my CAO answer that. Larry, can you address that?
Sure. We've been working pretty diligently since August 2022. And I think it's made the point of hundreds of hours. We put 1,000 hours into this already. And I'm not kidding. And we have spent a lot of time, preparation, agreements, history.
Can you speak into the mic, please? Thank
History,
you.
information going back for 20 years. We went through our financials going back to 2018, and with just cause and reason, let me tell you. And we were pretty close to being ready by July of this year on most items. Okay? So just to respond to that, we've already invested a lot of time, and we've also changed our staff significantly to be able to respond to that. So anyway,
So that's a yes?
that would be a yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're not very big. So, yes, we are limited with manpower, but this started several years ago with the previous council in Clearwater. So we have been moving towards that, because ultimately what was stated back then was that, the way things were going, Caroline might have to dissolve in 5 to 10 years. I'm a little bit more optimistic that actually it probably wouldn't have to at this particular point in time, but all sorts of different things can happen. So, bringing us back to, yes, thank you for the question, Councillor. I think that we're in fairly good shape. I felt that we were in, from everything that I had discussed with Larry, that yes, we were in fairly decent shape to move ahead and provide whatever information that we need to provide. So it's a matter of getting, to answer your question, yes. So, thank you for that. So Tracy, well, does everybody believe we need to have a motion to accept this, to move forward and start discussions? Yes, Councillor Ratcliffe.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was prepared to make that motion, that joint councils accept the amalgamation work plan and amalgamation work plan timeline as presented.
And discussed. All in, Council.
Actually, I was going to introduce a question before that. Draw the thought even.
Well, after the motion is debate. Sorry.
As amended?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Just to restate that motion. It's Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That the joint councils accept the amended amalgamation work plan and the amended amalgamation work plan timeline. Okay.
Before we go to a vote, I see that Deputy Reeve has got a question.
Yes, please. Thank you, Your Worship. How does it work with consensus committees? Because we aren't technically joint councils. We are a amalgamation committee, and our terms of reference are consensus-based. So how does the vote structure work on a consensus-based committee?
You could still take a vote, but it would
Okay.
have to be unanimous to be carried.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yes, Counselor Graham. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will support this. I just want to make it known that both administrations, for me, this is a fluid timeline. I think that the service levels of the municipalities need to be the priority. We don't want those to drop in either municipality. So I'm accepting this knowing that it's a tentative proposal of a timeline. I just want to say that prior to the vote.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Wright.
We stated what and how much time and effort we've already put into this operation. Does the county have the capacity with your existing staff and manpower to be able to work within that time frame as well? Question is, we put a lot of time and effort in, like about 1,000 hours so far, Mr. CEO. How is your capacity and your time available, given winter conditions and the vast area you manage? I guess that's the question is back to the county. Do you have the resources? I know you've had staffing items similar to us, and just.
No, fair question. Thank you, Larry. For Clearwater County, we'd simply adjust. We always moved council's priorities. When a new number one comes in, it bumps number two down. So this is just another task.
Work. Yes, Deputy Reed.
Thank you, Your Worship. I will be supporting the motion on the floor today too, as it is a consensus-based council in order to move this project continually moving forward. But I agree with Councillor Graham. I am tenuous to the fact, and I understand the fact that our service levels could suffer because this is being bumped to number one. And I want to make sure we keep a handle on that as well. But I will vote in favor for this so that we can continue this process forward. But it's cautious, yes.
Can we put it to a vote now? All in favor of accepting the motion that Councillor Ratcliffe put forward with the amendments? It's unanimous, it's carried. Okay. Without any further ado, so we have a task in front of us to go through this timeline for today and tomorrow that are stated or placed on this sheet in front of us, or this list. And starting off at I believe, the municipal boundaries. Can we move forward with that?
Perhaps municipal status as,
What comes number 2 on here? Do we have to change the? So it says
Yeah.
on here,
for,
the municipal,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
oh, I got it. Well, excuse me, I was going off what we adopted, but we had also. Yes, yeah. Okay,
Respectfully, Mr. Mayor, I was just looking through the agenda as outlined in front, and I believe that items 4.2 through to 4.5 will be discussed in closed session and then come back. Or are we introducing these discussions now, then go into closed session to
At the end.
discuss them, and then come out and make whatever motions?
Yeah.
For clarification. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you. You're lucky today. All right, so then we need a motion to go into closed session.
Not, if I
Yes, you may.
Mayor Rimmer, So, because of the timelines, and I'll just make a note that items that will come to the committee for discussion won't necessarily be in the order as they're numbered on the work plan. Some of the items require a fair bit of information, research, gathering, compiling. So those items will fall a little bit later. Some of the items for discussion are more, I would say, philosophical in nature. So those items will come forward sooner. So as you can see in today's agenda, we've sort of bounced around on compared to the administrative work plan, and you will see that in agendas coming forward. Also, I would like to note the reporting template, just so that everybody is aware. It's been redesigned to focus or to highlight, you know, both the village and county logos. Of importance to note is the section in the template that it says Public Participation Plan Direction. Now, the committee at the last meeting in November adopted the Public Participation Plan, which most of the items under negotiation were identified as the basic line of inform. Now, the committee at any time can change that status to a different level of public engagement if they so wish. So on the reporting template, you'll notice that the little box there, inform, has been checked off. That, again, is just the minimum requirement. But if the committee so chooses, they can change that to a different status. Also important to note is the legislative direction box there on the template. That highlights the applicable legislation in the Municipal Government Act. And as long as decisions are within that legislation, that noted legislation, that's perfect. So would you like me to go through and start into, okay, so municipal status is one of the items. According to the MGA, there are 5 types of municipalities that may be formed. And again, amalgamation outcome is the formation of a new municipality. So the 5 types is municipal district, village, town, city, and a specialized municipality. There are certain requirements to determine what type a municipality will be. And it's fairly obvious that if a new municipality is formed between Clearwater County and the village, really the only 2 possible types are municipal district or a specialized municipality. A specialized municipality has to follow certain criteria, and it is up to the minister to decide whether a municipality can be a specialized municipality. Usually, for the specialized municipality, a perfect example, and CAO Wright would be very familiar, would be the RM of Wood Buffalo. That's where they have a lot of urban type communities, some of them with the population bases over 1,000, rather than having one like a municipal district and then a bunch of small urban villages or towns. They decided to form one municipality and under the criteria of specialized. Now, Clearwater County and the village, it's almost like there isn't any criteria, like it wouldn't qualify for a specialized municipality. So that leaves municipal district. And a municipal district is formed in a rural area that includes farmlands, hamlets, and rural residential subdivisions. So if that were the case, then Caroline would then become a hamlet designated as an unincorporated community as described in the MGA section 59.2. An unincorporated community may be designated a hamlet if the community consists of 5 or more buildings used as dwellings, a majority of which are on parcels of land smaller than 1850 square meters. B, has a generally accepted boundary and a name, and contains parcels of land that are used for non-residential purposes. So for today's meeting, what was pointed out was we do have several agenda items that we can go through one at a time. And then after all of those items have been presented, and if there's any questions on those items, they can be answered. And then to actually begin the negotiations, that can be done in closed session.
All right,
So
thank you.
Any questions?
I see none. Oh, yeah, as soon as I turn my head.
Thank you, Your Worship. So county is not a recognized municipal,
Clearwater County is a municipal district, yes.
okay, so we already are an MD.
Clearwater County is already, yes, an MD.
Okay, so we will
Yes.
not be, like, if we were to change somehow, we are already an MD, so that letterhead portion would not change. I'm like, I'm sure we're a county. I'm like looking through the MGA, I'm like, I know we're allowed to be a county, okay. But we are the MD of Clearwater County.
Yes, and
Okay, we just dropped the beginning.
the MGA does allow for the name to be as a county, not having to state that it's a municipal district of, like, for example, who's MD Bighorn? Yeah. Their corporate name is Municipal District of Bighorn. Clearwater County is still a municipal district, but the corporate name is Clearwater County.
Okay, thank you.
It used to be the MD of Clearwater. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, okay, so we're gonna deal with the municipal status. We're gonna discuss some of these things, then go into closed session. Am I correct?
Questions, and then the next one, and then, so we'll go through them all, and then go into closed section, negotiate them all, come out with resolutions.
And that's where I want to start was municipal boundaries, but thank you for pointing out that we have got an agenda here. But what I thought we would do is just go through what we have to go into closed session about, which is the municipal boundaries, the municipal status, and get the information that we need and require to go into a closed session to discuss. So can we do that? Hey? Yes, yes. Which is on, yes. Yeah, that's all under, except for the formation date, I think. So we've discussed municipal status, or we've had questions about municipal status. Do we have any questions about municipal boundaries? Because I think it's fairly clear, at least in my understanding, is that because we're smack dab in the middle of Clearwater County, that the municipal boundaries that will change are only the official boundaries of Caroline, from my understanding.
The agenda, did I miss that we were supposed to be talking about municipal boundaries?
I'm asking questions about it.
Okay, I just, okay.
No, it's on the work, municipal boundaries on, all right.
Tomorrow.
This is quite confusing.
Just totally ignore this page.
Just go
I'm
with the
going to
agenda.
totally ignore this. Right.
So the next one, Mr. Chair, would be the presentation of municipal name, the agenda item that goes with that.
So this is how you guys do it. You go through the agenda. All right.
Yeah, we don't make it up as we go. We go by what's presented.
All right, the municipal name, 4.3. Questions? You gotta excuse me, I only had a few hours sleep.
You're doing great.
The municipal name. Questions? Yes, Tracy.
So the next item that the committee will need to negotiate and discuss in closed session later is a proposed legal name for the new municipality. So the MD of Clearwater County, number 99, was incorporated in 1985. It changed its name to Clearwater County in 2000. Caroline, incorporated as a village in 1951, was named after the daughter of the community's postmaster who opened a post office in 1908. The process of amalgamating two municipalities results in the formation of a new municipality. Typically, the name will have two components: the status of the municipality and place name. Given the circumstances of an amalgamation of the village with the county, an option to consider is for the new municipality to be named Clearwater County, and regardless of what would be negotiated, Caroline would retain its place name as a hamlet. Should it be decided that the new municipality would have a new name, rebranding would be required. Rebranding encompasses a change of logo on signs, buildings, vehicles, equipment, all forms of media, and templates, including office supplies. Estimated costs are at a minimum $100,000, and that would be just for Clearwater County, should the name change, over a transition period of 8 months to a year. I believe rebranding for the hamlet of Village, or the hamlet of Caroline, would be far less than the estimated $100,000.
$10.
So this is, choosing a new name requires researching background information and context behind the name. In addition, a thorough check and investigation is required to ensure that the name does not match any other municipal jurisdictions in Alberta, does not infringe on any existing trademarks or registered trademarks in Canada, and does not prohibit terms such as, does not use prohibited terms such as Royal, Alberta, Alta, or other terms identified in the Trademarks Act. This is one of the items that's recommended as a best practice that public consultation occurs on this topic. And further details regarding public participation will be presented at tomorrow's meeting. And you'll notice that on the report, the minimum requirement is for public participation is to inform. But again, if the committee directs otherwise for different types of engagement, then that will be done.
Thank you. Question, oh, Deputy Reeve.
Thank you, Your Worship. Would the public participation piece and costs associated with public participation still be required if the name didn't change?
The minimum requirement, which is in form. So yes, public participation up to the identified minimum requirement. But should the committee decide to engage the public in a survey or having, open houses or public meetings or a contest, some like Turner Valley and Black Diamond did a contest to come up with a new name, then yes, that would require time and funding for that.
Thank you.
Questions? Okay,
So
and there'll be more information tomorrow.
on public participation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we'll discuss that in closed session.
yeah.
Can we move on to 4.4? I see the Reeve is nodding her head and like, come on. Okay, the location of the municipal office. Now, I have a question. We have to have, for the report's sake, have the office's address and everything associated, and the easiest possible way is to have that where it's existing at the present time, correct? I know at one time the county was thinking of building a thing up by the airport or whatever, a new building for. But we have to have that set for the report.
That is correct. All that is required for the report is one main office, one main address, street location and mailing address, and plus one email, one main email contact. To be clear, this does not include, like, the report does not require information as to other municipal building locations. Does not require, the report does not require that, for example, satellite offices be identified. This is just strictly the one main address in which the province can communicate with the new municipality, the federal government, any kind of stakeholders, agencies, and the public can communicate at one main location.
Thank you. Any further questions? Need more information? Okay, 4.5. The CAO. So of course, this is going to go to closed session, but require one CAO, or the main CAO, or whatever, however you want to slice and dice it. I don't know what else we can discuss about that, in public.
Well, in some cases, for the report, a CAO has to be identified, but in some cases, there could be like two or more than one. For example, Turner Valley and Black Diamond identified in their report the CAO from each of the previous towns would be acting as CAO.
This would be interim.
This would be at the date of formation. At the date of formation, the CAO must be identified. And when it is, the new council then would go through the process of either continuing with that CAO, just like what councils do now. They would, they could decide to recruit a different CAO. But this isn't, I guess in a manner, it is interim until the new council decides whatever direction that they want to go forward in.
Well, that's basically what the committee is doing, is that
Yeah,
we'll get to that point where then the new revitalized or committee or council would then make those decisions going into the new entity. Questions? Further info? As I see, there's not gonna get a motion just to take all of this as information. I believe that's what we would do, would we not? No? Okay. All right. If there's no further questions or we'll move on to 5, the old business, which is none. And then now going into a closed session, I need a motion to take us into closed session so that we can discuss this. All in favor? Nobody's opposed, so Don't you guys have fiber optic? Okay, so we need a motion for 4.1. Oh, welcome back to the open part of the session. We went into closed session discussing, making sure that we discussed all of this so we can come out with motions to give administration direction going forward in the amalgamation process. 4.1 was the draft amalgamation administrative work plan. Can I get a motion?
Did we not already? I think we already did that one, if I
Did we?
remember. I'd look to our recorder, but I think we've already done that one. I believe
Okay.
we'd be going to 4.2 as the
All right,
first
yes, you're
item.
correct.
And I would be willing to make a motion relating to that item, at that the municipality's status shall remain as a municipal district.
All in favor? Carried. Go next to municipal name. Can I get a motion to accept? Councillor Radcliffe.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the Amalgamation Committee agree on naming the new municipality Clearwater County.
All in favor? Carried. 4.4, location of the municipal office. Need a motion to accept. Yes,
I will make the motion that the amalgamation committee agree that the new municipality's main municipal office be located at 4340 47th Avenue, Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, with the mailing and email address as follows: Box 550, Rocky Mountain House, T4T 1A4, email admin@clearwatercounty.ca.
all in favor? Carried. 4.5, Chief Administrative Officer.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Second part of 4.4.
yes, second part, sorry. Thank you.
I make the motion that the committee agrees to have a municipal presence in Caroline to ensure a smooth transition following amalgamation proceedings until such time council has opportunity to strategically plan for Clearwater County.
All in favor? Carried. Now we move to 4.5. Chief Administrative Officer. I get a motion. Councillor Graham.
I would make a motion that the amalgamation committee agree to name Rick Emmons as the chief administrative officer for the amalgamated municipality.
All in favor? Carried. Now we move to number 8. Can I get a motion? Councillor Northcott. All in favor? All in favor, so we're gone. Thank you so much, everyone.